What am I doing? Okay, hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Natalie Cherie here. We are doing part 2 of my favorite palettes. And I do have more to do a video on if you guys want to know or even see my whole eyeshadow palette collection. Let me know in the comments below if that's something you'd like to see as well. But my first video, as you probably all saw, was getting long with my obsession with the palettes I love. So I decided to break it up in 2 parts. And so we are going to move on to the second part of this video. So as you guys saw in my last video, this is my favorite palette ever, the Juvia's Place Warrior palette. But I'm not going to divvy into more of why I love that. We're just going to go ahead and get started into this video. Another palette that I love, which is from Huda Beauty. It's the Nude Medium palette. She came out, and this was a genius idea that she did. Oh my God, I dropped it. Please let it be okay. Let it be okay. And she's okay. So, Huda Beauty came out with these nude palettes, and she came out with them like in a light shade, a medium shade, and a dark shade to kind of go with people's skin tones if they want options, which I thought was actually genius. And I've already seen other brands already trying to copy that. Great idea, Huda Beauty. But I got the nude medium. I'm a medium skin tone. I thought it would be nice to get the medium. And I also want to get the dark too, because the dark colors are gorgeous and would look so gorgeous. Honestly, doesn't matter your skin tone. You can make any of the palettes work. So there's no reason to just get your skin tone, but I personally really do love these colors, and so hello me. I personally do love these colors, so I love this palette. I've been reaching for it a little bit more lately than I usually do, and it's great. I mean, you just get a great shadow look with this, great neutral glam look with that, I would say. So I love that palette. Huda Beauty, you did great with that idea. Oh, don't sneeze. Don't sneeze. Now these next 2 palettes I'm going to show you together, and I don't really know. I'm a little annoyed. I don't know why I'm showing you. Well, I know why, because they're really great palettes, but the packaging was not good. The shadows have crumbled and broken inside. I'd actually contacted the company about that to see if they can do something about it. But they're both by ColourPop. They are the Honey and the Lilac You A Lot palettes. You guys, I've done a video using this palette and I love it. But my problem is that, okay, I'll open and show you. The pans are not secured down. So the pans, some of the pans have fallen out and caused the eyeshadows to break. And it's happened in both the palettes, and it's really annoying, and it's a shame because they're both really great palettes. And so I'm hoping they can resolve that and at least get my feedback that they need to glue the pans down more so that the pans don't pop out and then the eyeshadows fall and crumble and break. But other than that big deal, they are really great palettes, really great pigment, good quality, and especially for drugstore pricing. I mean, both of these palettes were, I think, $12, which is amazing, especially to get online or get at Ulta. So great quality for the price. And as far as shadow pigments go, they need to work on how they put them in the pans and how they put them in the palette. Moving on, one of my favorites from BH Cosmetics, which I do have to admit, I'm not a huge, I used to love BH Cosmetics back in the day when I was first starting out, but as I've gotten better quality products and you know, shadows and stuff, I do feel like they're not as good. At least they're not as good as they used to be, but maybe I've just, you know, have done, have gotten better palettes, and so they don't do the same performing for me, if that makes sense. I'm all over the place. But this palette is good from them. It's a Solar Flare palette, and it's a baked palette. The shadows are baked, and they're gorgeous, and this kind of reminds me of my beloved Warrior palette, except there are no mattes in here, so you do have to have your own matte. I, again, do the same kind of thing, though. I usually just use one of the colors on my lid, and then I use a skin tone color from the Decano from the Warrior palette, or I'll even use the skin powder I use, which is the L'Oreal True Match. Sometimes I'll put that in a crease as well and kind of buff everything together and make it look nice and like simple. So that's what I like this color palette for. And they have a lot of different color options and golds and shimmers to do that with different types of iridescent finishes. So I really like that palette. Moving on, another Huda Beauty palette. This is the, it's the Nude palette. So this came before the other palette, but this is the Nude palette from Huda Beauty. Gorgeous colors. Again, I'll get like a nice pinky purple look out of this, which is what I really like it for. Great color story. She really did great with these colors. I don't really get excited about these two glitter ones because you need to use a glitter glue to make them work, or they'll kind of get everywhere. And not only that, but I need to practice more on my glitters. I'm honestly not the best. That's why I usually just do shimmers. I'll buy glitter palettes, but then I don't really use them much. Or if they come in a palette, I'll get excited about them, but I don't use them much. So maybe it's something I'll work on to be better about that for you guys. And just for myself, obviously. But yeah, great palette from Huda Beauty. These I like actually better than the like colorful little minis. This one is actually really good, but I prefer these types over these little minis because I think the quality is a little bit better and they're a little bit easier to work with formula wise, if that makes sense. But Huda Beauty makes great products as a whole. Now, one of my favorite palettes from ColourPop is the Semi Precious palette. And you know what the funny thing is? When I got this was when they were starting to sell on Sephora. This was one of the palettes they had on Sephora website. I don't think you can get ColourPop on Sephora.com anymore, but when you could, this was one of the few palettes you could get. And ironically, it had a really good or really not so good reviews, like 2.5 to 3 star reviews. People were not really vibing with this palette, but I like it. Again, like with the other ones, I like to use, they're all shimmers, so I use this with a skin tone color and like buff it out and it looks beautiful like that. And I think the quality is really good on these. People are saying they didn't like the quality, but look. And they swatch good. And then I've used them on my eyes too, so it's not just a swatch thing. I used them on my eyes as well. They're good. I have no complaints. I really love this palette from them. I need to use it more. Another palette you need to use more, which is the best palette from BH Cosmetics that they have ever done. This palette, I need to use it more. It's the Desert Oasis palette. And I actually got this on sale at Marshall's, marked down to $7.99, which is good because I think on BH Cosmetics' website, it's like $15, which is still a good deal for this palette. Guys, gorgeous colors. I've used it a few times, not enough, but gorgeous colors. And it even has like highlights here. You can use as shadows. The color stories on the shadows are good. They're very neutrally, and you even have a blue in there if you want to get a little creative. This palette is a genius from them. Probably the best palette they have. I love that in Solar Flare, but this one is even better to me. And last but not least for this video, one of my favorite overall palettes from Juvia's Place is the Masquerade. Probably comes in second place to the Warrior palette because it has neutrals and it has colors. And Juvia's Place makes really great colorful palettes too. I have a few more. I do have quite a bit of Juvia's palettes. But it's great. I've taken this on vacation. When I go on my cruise, I'll take this and maybe one other palette. And it's great because I have my color, I have my neutral options where I can do a nice neutral eye. If I want to dip into colors, I have that too. This is a great overall palette. Like if you're even getting your first palette from Juvia's Place, even though I love that Warrior palette and I think everybody should have it, I would say if you want to get a first palette, it'd probably be this palette because if you want to experiment with a little bit of color, you have good color options and they're really great quality colors. But if you just want to stick with neutrals, you have that too. So you can do a lot of looks with this palette. So I totally recommend that. But that's it for this video. If you guys want to see more of my favorite palettes or want to do like a palette, if you want me to do like a palette video where I show you all my palettes or something, let me know because I love eyeshadows so much and they're my favorite thing about makeup next to lashes, of course. And I hope you guys love the video. I hope you guys subscribe and ring the bell so you also stay notified. Like the video, let people know about me. Please continue to support me. I love you guys so much and I'm appreciative to all of you, and I will see you guys in the next video.